3D printing can cut those costs by up to 90%.
Hey guys, welcome to another video in Explainer Zone. So a couple weeks ago, I made a video on Nano Dimension stock, ticker symbol NNDM, on NASDAQ. I spoke about how ARK Invest was buying this stock and that the stock was up about 87% in a short period of time. Well, since I posted that video, NNDM stock is up almost another 87%. So I thought I'll make an update video about this stock and provide some analysis about Nano Dimension as a company and why I think ARK Invest may have bought this stock. I also found something about Nano Dimension regarding how it could be trying to make some moves in the space industry. I found that information very interesting when I came across it. So I'll be talking about that as well. So quickly looking at some numbers for the stock, the current stock price for NNDM is $4.48 on October 15th, up about 22.74% in today's trading session, although the stock is down about 5% in after hours trading. But if we go back to September 23rd, which is just about 3 weeks ago, the stock price was only about $1.43. So the stock price is up almost $3 since then, which is an increase of about a whopping 213%. The current market cap of the company is about $240 million, so not a huge market cap. 52-week low is 51 cents and 52-week high is $4.89, which is actually higher than today's closing value for the stock price. If we look at ARK Invest, now why I personally watch what ARK Invest is doing is simply because they have some of the best performing ETFs out there. They currently have 5 actively managed ETFs, ARKK, which is up about 104% year to date, ARKQ, which is up about 67% year to date, ARKW, which is up about 103% year to date, ARKG, which is up about 119% year to date, and ARKF, which is up about 74% year to date. Now compare that with the S&P 500, which is only up about 7% year to date. We can clearly see that ARK Invest has been able to beat the S&P 500 by a huge margin with each and every one of their actively managed ETFs. I personally like the fact that ARK Invest invests in disruptive innovation. They have been bullish about Tesla stock for a long time, even at the time when a majority of others doubted it.
When you build a base like that, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to break down, and that's what a lot of the bears have been betting on, and they've been throwing everything at it, or it's going to break out. Clearly, we believe it's going to break out. And the longer the base, you say 5 years, the longer the base, the bigger the breakout. So we're really looking forward to that.
I think Katie Wood and her team at ARK Invest are some really smart people who know what they're doing and are innovative in their approach towards investing. Now, there were a few comments on my last video saying that ARK Invest is not always right and they do mistakes as well, which I completely agree with. No one can always be right, and I think that applies to ARK as well. I personally don't think it's a good idea to buy or sell a stock just because someone else has done so. But for me personally, I know that the people at ARK Invest know more than what I know, for sure, without a doubt. I think they have a good track record, and I think they do their research and groundwork before investing in a stock. So when ARK Invest is buying or selling a stock, I personally consider it as a good starting point to take note and to do some research. So for NNDM stock, ARK Invest has this stock in their ARKQ ETF, which is their autonomous technology and robotics ETF. They currently hold about 472,946 shares of NNDM in this ETF as of 15th October 2020 at a current market value of about $2.1 million. Now one thing to note is that ARKQ ETF currently holds stocks of 40 different companies, and NNDM stock is only about 0.278% of ARKQ and occupies 39th place out of the 40 stocks. So basically, it's a very small portion of the ETF. Just a few days ago, it was actually in the last place, but looks like the massive stock price rally helped it jump one place. One more thing to note here is that, apparently, ARK Invest had Nano Dimension stock even last year. So on 13/5/2019, they apparently had about 800,000 shares of Nano Dimension when the stock price was in the $6 range. But then they seem to have sold over 90% of Nano Dimension shares they had by 31/1/2020, by which time the stock price for NNDM had fallen to the $2 range. After ARK sold the stock, it crashed even further, I guess reaching its 52-week low of 51 cents. But then in May of this year, apparently the stock price increased over 340% in one day after the company and Germany's Hensoldt announced a new way to use 3D printing to assemble high-performance electronics components. But then later, the company raised about $35.9 million in a direct stock offering at $2 per share. So the stock price slowly came down to about $2 in July and then fell further to about $1.5 before it started going up in the last week of September. So overall, from the long-term stock price trend, the stock seems to be extremely volatile, like most of the penny stocks. That is the reason why I personally try to stay away from penny stocks as much as possible. Now, to try to answer why ARK Invest might be interested in this stock, in my opinion, I think the fundamental reason is in the business that Nano Dimension is involved in. So Nano Dimension was founded in 2012 in Israel, and it's currently headquartered in Israel as well. Its business focus seems to be in the application of 3D printing in the electronics industry. And if you're familiar with ARK Invest, you probably already know that they focus on investing in disruptive innovation. So let's quickly look at what Katie Wood has to say about the 3D printing industry.
3D printing can cut those costs by up to 90%, as well as lower the weight and form factors of the various parts in engines and shrink the number of parts. So aerospace, we think, given the turmoil and trouble it's in right now, it is going to seek out even more aggressively some of these new technologies that are going to help it get back to profitability.
So apparently, 3D printing, when applied in industries like aerospace, can help companies not only to cut costs, but also reduce weight and form factors of several parts. Now, I think although cost cutting sounds like an amazing benefit already, for me, reduction in weight sounds much more exciting, because weight reduction can benefit in a lot of ways, like reducing the energy consumption. If these advantages can be realized in the manufacturing of rockets, it could potentially mean a possibility for the rocket to carry more fuel or cargo. And that can potentially change the economics and possibilities of space exploration, and I think can improve the future growth prospects of some of the space-based companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. Now, aerospace is one of the industries which Nano Dimension says it is targeting. The other industries it is currently targeting include research institutes, defense, medical, automotive, and industrial. Now, I found an article which kind of gives some hints about how Nano Dimension could be trying to make some moves to secure good growth opportunities in the space industry. So looking at that article, it says, Nano Dimension is known for its Dragonfly Pro 3D printer, a multi-material inkjet system which can 3D print electronics. In recent times, the ability of additive manufacturing, which is nothing but 3D printing, has opened the doors to miniaturization of electronic equipment such as radars and sensors. Generally, such devices are hefty, which makes them difficult to transport and limit their use in aerospace applications. In this regard, the Dragonfly printer has proved capable of reducing the size of electronics such as multi-layer PCBs, antennas, and sensors. Furthermore, it can 3D print such devices on custom-shaped, rigid, and flexible materials. A good example of these applications are Nano Dimension's collaboration with Harris Corporation to 3D print radio frequency identification chips and with Phytech to 3D print PCBs. On the miniaturization capability of the Dragonfly and future potential of Nano Dimension's technology, the co-founder of Nano Dimension said, quote-unquote, radio frequency circuits such as amplifiers and antennas additively manufactured with our Dragonfly Pro will be tested on the International Space Station as part of a joint Harris and Space Florida project. Now, this is an indication that Nano Dimension has already been trying to make moves in the space industry. And to be honest, more than just Nano Dimension, this makes me also excited for the space exploration industry in general. We know that SpaceX is trying to make space travel affordable with colonization of Mars as one of its goals. I personally think Nano Dimension's products sound like they can make a meaningful impact in this effort, as I think they could potentially reduce costs for companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin with the advantages they are bringing to the table. Now, this is my personal analysis based on what I know about the space industry and based on what I have been seeing about Nano Dimension during my research. And I think overall, that's a very exciting prospect, both for Nano Dimension and the space industry. Now, it is possible that ARK Invest may be knowledgeable about a short-term catalyst for the stock, something I do not know, or maybe they are just investing in this company solely because of the disruptive nature of the innovative products they are bringing to the table. I personally do not know for sure at the moment, but I'll keep an eye on this one, as I'm actually excited to see where Nano Dimension goes in the long term. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I make videos like this regularly, so stay tuned. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you liked the video and found value in it. As a disclaimer, I would like to tell you that I'm not a financial advisor, and this video or any of the videos on Explainer Zone are not meant to be investment advice. All the videos in Explainer Zone are only for entertainment and educational purposes, and please do your own research and due diligence before investing in stocks or anything else, as there is a risk associated with them.